Fourthing by Rebecca Yaros. Chapter 1. Conscription day is always the deadliest. Maybe that's why the sunrise is especially beautiful this morning, because I know it might be my last. I tighten the straps of my heavy canvas rucksack and trudge up the wide staircase of the stone fortress I call home. My chest tips with exertion, my lungs burning by the time I reach the stone corridor leading to General Soringale's office. This is what 6 months of intense physical training has given me, the ability to barely climb 6 flights of stairs with a 30-pound pack. I'm so fucked. The thousands of 20-year-olds waiting outside the gate to enter their chosen quadrant for service are the smartest and strongest in Navarre. Hundreds of them have been preparing for the Riders Quadrant, the chance to become one of the elites, since birth. I've had exactly 6 months. The expressionless guards lining the wide hallway at the top of the landing avoid my eyes as I pass, but that's nothing new. Besides, being ignored is the best possible scenario for me. Basicat War College isn't known for being kind to, well, anyone, even those of us whose mothers are in command. Every Navarrian officer, whether they choose to be schooled as healers, scribes, infantry, or riders, is molded within these cruel walls over 3 years, honed into weapons to secure our mountainous borders from the violent invasions attempts of the kingdom of Poromel and their Greifer riders. The weak don't survive here, especially not in the Riders Quadrant. The dragons make sure of it. You're sending her to die. A familiar voice thunders through the general's thick wooden door, and I gasp. There's only one woman on the continent foolish enough to raise her voice to the general, but she's supposed to be on the border with the Eastern Wing. Mira. There's a muffled response from the office and I reach for the door handle. She doesn't stand a chance, Mira shouts as I force the heavy door open and the weight of my pack shifts forward, nearly taking me down. Shit. The general curses from behind her desk and I grab onto the back of the crimson upholstered couch to catch my balance. Damn it, Mom, she can't even handle her rucksack. Mira snaps, rushing to my side. I'm fine. My cheeks heat with mortification and I force myself upright. She's been back for 5 minutes and is already trying to save me. Because you need saving, you fool. I don't want this. I don't want any part of this Riders Quadrant shit. It's not like I have a death wish. I would have been better off failing the admission test to Basigat and going straight to the army with the majority of conscripts. But I can handle my rucksack, and I will handle myself. Oh, Violet. Worried brown eyes look down at me as strong hands brace my shoulders. Hi, Mira. A smile tugs at the corner of my mouth. She might be here to say her goodbyes, but I'm just glad to see my sister for the first time in years. Her eyes soften, and her fingers flex on my shoulders like she might pull me into a hug. But she keeps back and turns to stand at my side, facing our mother. You can't do this. It's already done. Mom shrugs, the lines of her fitted black uniform rising and falling with the motion. I scoff. So much for the hope of reprieve. Not that I ever should have expected, or even hoped for, an ounce of mercy from a woman who's been made famous for her lack of it. Then undo it, Mira says. She's spent her whole life training to be a scribe. She wasn't raised to be a writer. Well, she certainly isn't you, is she, Lieutenant Sorengale? Mom braces her hands on the immaculate surface of her desk and leans in slightly as she stands looking us over with narrowed, appraising eyes that mirror the dragons carved into the furniture's massive legs. I don't need prohibited power of mind reading to know exactly what she sees. At 26 years old, Mira is a younger version of our mother. She's tall, with a strong, powerful muscles, toned from years of sparring and hundreds of hours spent on the back of her dragon. Her skin practically glows with health, and her golden brown hair is sheared through, short for combat in the same style as Mom's. But more than looks, she carries the same arrogance, the unwavering conviction that she belongs in the sky. She is a rider through and through. She's everything I'm not, and the disapproving shake of Mom's head says she agrees. I am too short, too frail. What curves I do have should be muscle, and my treacherous body makes me embarrassingly vulnerable. Mom walks toward us, her polished black boots gleaming in the image lights that flicker from the scones. She picks up the end of my long braids, scoffs at the section just above my shoulders, where the brown strands start to lose their warmth of color and slowly fade to a steely metallic silver by the ends, and then drops it. Pale skin, pale eyes, pale hair. Her gaze siphons every ounce of my confidence down to the marrow in my bones. It's like that fever stole all of your coloring along with your strength. Grief flashes through her eyes and her brows furrow. I told him not to keep you in that library. It's not the first time I've heard her curse that sickness that nearly killed her while she was pregnant with me, or the library that made my second home once. She's been stationed here at the Basigas as an instructor and he as a scribe. I love that library, I counter. It's been more than a year since his heart finally failed, and the archives are still the only place that feel like home in this giant fortress, the only place where I still feel my father's presence. Spoken like the daughter of a scribe, Mom says quietly, and I see it. The woman she was while Dad was alive, softer, kinder, at least for her family. I am the daughter of a scribe. My back screams at me, so I let my pack slip from my shoulders, guiding me to the floor, and take my first full breath since leaving my room. Mom blinks, and that softer woman is gone, leaving only the general. You are the daughter of a rider. You are 20 years old, and today is conscription day. I let you finish your tutoring, but like I told you last spring, I will not watch one of my children enter the scribe quadrant, Violet. Because scribes are so far beneath riders? I grumble, knowing perfectly well that riders are at the top of the social and military hierarchy. It helps that their bonded dragons roast people for fun. Yes, her customary composure slips. And if you dare walk into the tunnel toward the scribe quadrant today, I will rip you out by the ridiculous braid and put you on the parapet myself. My stomach turns over. Dad wouldn't want this, Mira argues, color flushing up her neck. I loved your father, but he is dead, Mom says, as if giving the weather report. I doubt he wants much of anything these days. I suck in a breath but keep my mouth shut. Arguing will get me nowhere. She's never listened to a damn thing I've had to say before, and today is no different. Sending Violet into the Rider's Quadrant is a tantamount of a death sentence. Guess Mira isn't done arguing. Mira is never done arguing with Mom, and the frustrating thing about it is that Mom has always respected her for double standard for the win. She's not strong enough, Mom. She's already broken her arm this year. She's sprayed some joint every other week, and she's not tall enough to mount any dragon big enough to keep her alive in the battle. Seriously, Mira? What the hell? My fingernails bite into my palms as I curl my hands into fists. Knowing my chance of survival are minimal is one thing. Having my sister throw my inadequacies in my face is another. Are you calling me weak? Mira squeezes my hand. No, just fragile. That's not any better. Dragons don't bone fragile women. They incinerate them. So she's small. Mom scans me up and down, taking in the generous fit of the cream-belted tunic and pants I selected this morning for my potential execution. I snorted. Are we just listing my faults now? I never said it was a fault. Mom turns to my sister. Mira, Violet deals with more pain before lunch than you do in an entire week. If any of my children is capable of surviving the Rider's quadrant, it is her. My eyebrows rise. That sounded an awful lot like a compliment. But with Mom, I'm never quite sure. How many Rider candidates die on conscription day, Ma? 40? 50? Are you that eager to bury another child? Mira sits. I cringe as the temperature in the room plummets, courtesy of Mom's storm-wielding Sage power she channels through her dragon. Sir. My chest tightens at the memory of my brother. No one has dared to mention Brannan or his dragon in the 5 years since they died fighting the Tyranish rebellion in the south. Mom tolerates me and respects Mira, but she loved Brannan. Dad did too. His chest pain started right after Brannan's death. Mom's jaw tightens and her eyes threaten retribution as she glares at Mira. My sister swallows but holds her own in the staring competition. Mom, I start. She didn't mean Gates. Out, Lieutenant. My mom's words are soft puffs of steam in the frigid office. Before I report you absent from your unit without leave. Mira straightens her posture, nods once, and pivots with military precision, then strides for the door without another word, grabbing a small rucksack on the way out. It's the first time Mom and I have been alone in months. Her eyes meet mine, and the temperature rises as she takes a deep breath. You scored in the top quarter for speed and agility during the entrance exam. You will do just fine. Also, Ringles do just fine. She skims the back of her fingers down my cheek, barely grazing my skin. So much like your father, she whispers before clearing her throat and backing up a few steps. Guess there's no service award for emotional availability. I won't be able to acknowledge you for the next 3 years, she says, sitting back at the edge of her desk. Since, as commanding general of Basikat, I will be your far superior officer. I know. It's the least of my concerns, considering she barely acknowledges me now. You won't get any special treatments just because you're my daughter, either. If anything, they'll come after you harder to make you prove yourself. She arches an eyebrow. Well aware. Good thing I've been training with Major Gilstead for the last several months since Mom made her decree. She sighs and forces a smile. Then I guess I'll see you in the valley at the threshing candidates. Though you'll be a cadet by sunset, I suppose. Or dead. Neither of us say it. Good luck, candidate Sorengel. She moves back behind her desk, effectively dismissing me. Thank you, General. I heft my pack onto my shoulders and walk out of her office. A guard closes the door behind me.